Oh, hey, how's it going? How you doing tonight? Happy Wednesday to you. We got a great show planned for you tonight. We got this gentleman over here, Hall of Famer Frankie Edgar and Kevin Internado. The Bastard Sons are what we're going to be talking about. Some UFC stuff, so stick around, hit the like button. I'll be right back.
It's time for the MMA-Holes!
From the Sanofi is Back studios of Arizona, we are live with the MMA-Holes!
Wonderful.
How you doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you all there. Make sure you hit that like button. Share the stream away. We got a fantastic show scheduled for you tonight. So strap on, strap in. It's going to be a wonderful ride. Shout out to our sponsor, MyBookie.ag. The promo code is MMA-Holes for a 10% match on your first deposit. Just win big at MyBookie. Go over there and use the code MMA-Holes. Get that 10% match. Also, ESPN Plus, if you want to watch any of the UFC fights, the Contender Series, The Ultimate Fighter, click the link in the description, and we get paid. Thank you to ESPN Plus, and thank you to MyBookie.ag. It's a pleasure to have our first guest on the program tonight. We've been doing the show since 2016. We've had many guests on this program, but tonight is a very special one, and I'm going to get to it in a second over here, why it's special. I mean, you pretty much know why it's special, but there's many reasons. This man, it's an announcement. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, a UFC champion, an actor. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for our guest, Frankie "The Answer" Edgar.
What's up, guys? Chris, how you doing, my man?
Hey, I'm doing well. This is delightful to have you on. First of all, Hall of Famer. How does that feel to be called a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, to get the recognition for something I put my heart and soul into all these years is definitely nice.
I mean, Jesus, I couldn't believe it. So we do a fight reaction shows on Saturday nights, and we do play-by-play and all that fun stuff. And then as I'm doing it, we had like 10,000 people watching, and all of a sudden I was like a big fanboy. When I saw you in the crowd and they announced that you're going to be in the Hall of Fame over there, I mean, the emotions that was going through, and that was a surprise, correct?
Yeah, I had no idea, dude. I had no idea. I was pretty much up there kind of by myself. I had a buddy with me, but I was completely surprised.
Was there something like, hey, there's something not right about this whole thing? You did the Q&A with the fans. Was there anything that gave a hint that maybe something's a little off?
No. I just thought I was a guest fighter. You know, I've done it plenty times before. I did the documentary series thing for Fight Pass called Year of the Fighter, and I don't think it has come out yet. So Megan will leave it the day before, said, oh, yeah, they're going to do a little preview of the Year of the Fighter. I'm like, oh, so even when I was in the arena and the video came up, I at first thought it was like a preview for the thing I did in the summertime. So it took me a little bit to realize what was going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just jumping in, we're here with Frankie Edgar. I pretty much needs no introduction. This guy's been around the game for many years, a champion, a Hall of Famer now, and an actor. We're going to be talking about the Bastard Sons and all that fun stuff. But before we get underway with that, I wanted to throw something out there to you. I was curious. I mean, listen, you meet a lot of fans along the way. I mean, meet and greets and signings and all this crazy stuff. You've won championships. You've been at the highs of the high. And I want to ask you this. UFC 196, McGregor versus Diaz. You, Brian Stan, Dominic Cruz were you were forced to take a piss with the fans. I don't know if you remember this, but I couldn't believe this. I was going to the bathroom, and as I'm in the bathroom, I look over and I see Frankie Edgar taking a piss, and Dominic Cruz and Brian standing, and I'm like saying to myself, these guys are in the commentary team. They're doing analysis, and they're taking what was that about? Do you remember that night?
Yeah, hey, we got a piss too, right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's funny. I kind of do remember that. Yeah, we're always running around like crazy, and when there's a break, we got to run, hit the bathroom real quick. So I remember that we were trying to get in and out.
Yeah, and all the fans were attacking you guys for pictures. It was hilarious. Yeah. It was fucking hilarious. I couldn't believe it. I remember going back to the seats, and I was telling my buddies, I just took a piss next to Frankie Edgar over here, and here we are taking pictures. I appreciate you stopping and taking a picture.
No, man, that's all love, man. I always appreciate the fans,
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing, and it's pretty sweet for me to get a chance to talk to you, because that was in 2016 of March, and we started our show in August, and then ever since then we've been doing it. It's our full-time job, and we cover athletes like you do in the sport. So this is a delightful moment for me to have you on the stream. So I really do appreciate you coming on.
No, my pleasure, man. It's that's a very cool story, and good to see you guys are doing well and doing what you love to do.
I appreciate that. Now I'm going to stop kissing your ass, and let's talk about the history of Frankie Edgar, and we're going to lead up into this movie. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the movie real quick over here. Acting. How does that feel to be an actor? I mean, you're a UFC fighter, and now all of a sudden you're like, okay, now I'm an actor. What was the transition like?
Yeah, honestly, the opportunity came across my desk, I guess you could say. I had Kevin on my podcast, Champion and Tramp podcast I do with Roger Matthews, and he was just a guest telling us about some projects he's done in the past, his military experience and whatnot. And a couple weeks after the interview, he reached out to me, and Roger said, "Hey, you want to be, have like a cameo role in this upcoming movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, sure, we'll do it." And then I think like a week or so later, he had called me and said, someone dropped out of the main role, one of the main roles. Would you want to jump in? And I said, yeah, all right. I've done acting, I guess you say. I've done a commercial for the UFC, and I was in Kickboxer 2 playing like myself, as a commentator. So, there's really not much acting going on there.
Yeah.
But so for this, I told him, I was like, listen, I don't really have much experience, but I'm game, and just jumped at the opportunity.
Yeah, it must have been exciting. And what was the nerves like? I mean, you're surrounded with some actors now. You're kind of like a fish out of water, I would imagine. What was the nerves like when you first got on set?
Luckily this is definitely a small production. It wasn't like a huge crew, so it was kind of an intimate process. But everybody involved. I was involved with some very, very experienced actors also. Some newbies like myself, but definitely some experienced guys, and I kind of just fed off them, listened to some tips that Kevin and some of the other guys gave me, and he's like, listen, I don't want you acting. He's like, I just want you to act as natural as possible, and just if you remember your lines, then you're good, and that's why I made sure I was prepared as best I could, at least in memorizing my lines and being on mark for all that stuff, but when you're in it, man, and everybody's pretending together, it kind of feels normal. So
yeah,
it's wild. I was playing cops and robbers, but at 40 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like this is like something you dream of when you're a kid, right? I mean, every kid pretends that there's someone else, and a superhero or a cop, like you said. Like here you are, like being a big kid. That's got to be something else. Like, where does that stand in like everything you've done with your career? Where does this fall as an actor?
I don't know. This is nothing I mean, as a kid, as soon as I got into athletics, I always had, athletic pursuits in mind. So I was never really the artsy type of guy.
Yeah.
I love music. I love listening to all kinds of music. I can't play a lick of anything though, but even movies, like I'm into movies. I appreciate actors and the performances they put on, but never did I think I would do something like this. So, I had a ton of fun doing it, though, to be honest, and I would consider doing it again for sure.
That's awesome. And Roger, you bring up Roger from your podcast. What's it called? The Tramp and the Champ, correct? Or the Champ and the Tramp?
Yeah, Champ and the Tramp. Yep.
Okay. And I recognize Roger from the whole Jersey Shore and all that stuff. How did you guys link up?
Well, Roger, he lived in my hometown for quite a while. He's actually from Maine, moved down here when he was 18 or so. I met him. I met him back in 2007, 8 when I first got in the UFC. We kind of knew a lot of similar people, but then we became buddies then, and he ended up marrying JWoww and having a couple kids, and getting divorced, and we still remain friends, obviously, through all that. And then one day we just decided to get together and do this podcast. So we've been doing it for the last 4 years. It's in my basement. I'm actually in a room now. You know what I mean? It's just chilling, and it's a good time. Get to bullshit, have a couple drinks one night a week with my buddy. We talk to some good people. It leads to great things. I ended up in a movie because of the podcast. So
yeah,
all in all, good stuff.
I've listened at the gym last couple of times. I popped in your podcast and I was listening to it, and I was dying laughing because I'm from New York, and then we moved over to Arizona for a little bit, so I kind of missed the East Coast. But when I listen to you guys, I get that fix, and your banter with Roger is hilarious because this is a massive human being. Like, he looks like a giant ogre, and you're just shitting on him the whole time. Dude, it's so funny, man. I love that banter.
I tell you, I keep honest. I said, you don't have to pay for a therapist.
Yeah.
I'm his therapist once a week.
Have you guys ever had a tussle? Listen, you're a UFC fighter, the whole deal. Has he all right, enough's enough, let's go at it? Or he's like, nah, man, I'm good. He seems like a big teddy bear.
Yeah, no, he, I used to actually, that's kind of how we kind of met too. We knew each other, but I used to teach an MMA class at my buddy's wrestling school, and Roger used to come. So we rolled around way back in the day, but not in a while. There's actually a video. I punched him in the face in slow-mo, and it looks like I cracked him. His face wiggles and everything, but really it was probably 30%. But it's on my Instagram. It's actually a pretty good shot.
I got to check that. I got to scroll through that. By the way, go give Frankie a follow on his Instagram, his Twitter, all his social media, please. We'll let you guys know the links later on. So this is kind of a crazy situation. You're a movie star. You got your podcast going. The UFC career has come to a close, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about. First off, the ending of the UFC career was a pretty big situation. You had your family in the building and this and that, and I got to be honest with you, as a fan of you and your career, seeing the last part of it with the family there and everything like that must have been incredibly emotional close to the career. What was the emotions like with that whole thing?
Yeah, it was. The end, I knew it was going to be emotional no matter what, just because it's the end. And then obviously the way it ended wasn't, kind of what I was hoping for. But I've been disappointed in my life, through athletics, and many, many times. And you got to deal with it. You got to face it head on. I wanted my kids to be there because, I was never going to be able to get to do that again. They would never have that opportunity again. So, if anything, it shows that I walked out of there with my head held high. I had no shame, no regrets in what I've, done in my career. So, that's how I kind of looked at it.
Yeah. So when that fight was over, did you have all intention saying, hey, this is my last fight, no matter what the outcome was? Or were you thinking, hey, if I get a win here, maybe I'm going to stick around?
No, I announced I was going to retire after that fight.
Okay.
No matter what. Yeah, win. I don't know if a win. You never know what a win would do, but yeah.
Yeah. And now look at this. Months pass, and then all of a sudden you're in the Hall of Fame. So it's like you go from that, oh damn, as a fighter, right? That's all you guys know, right? As a fighter, it's in your blood. You want to compete. You want to, at the highest level. And now all of a sudden you're getting the highest honor as a Hall of Famer. So everything comes full circle with you, and what a glorious career, man. It's kind of wild. Do you ever sit back and kick your feet up, put your hands behind your head, and be like, holy shit, I'm the fucking man? You ever think that?
No, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. But as you get older and you start looking back, when you're in the thick of it, you never want to look back or and reminisce, and you never want to smell your flowers yet.
Yeah.
I never. I was never one to do that because I kind of had goals in mind, and I felt like if you're not growing, you're dying. So I wanted to make sure I was always looking to keep pursuing. But now that I'm done, you look back, I'm definitely proud of everything I've done. Sure. And, to get the recognition is awesome. I left Toronto. I left fight week with a smile, thousands of texts on my.
Oh, you cut out over here. By the way, we're live with Frankie Edgar. Might be having some Wi-Fi issues. But Frankie Edgar is one of the legends. Just got inducted in the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Sonosi, for becoming a member over here. He's in his studio, the champ and the tramp. Hopefully we can get him back on board over here. We have another guest coming on in a little bit. We'll get to that in a sec. But Frankie Edgar, oh, there he is.
You.
Okay, we lost you for a second there.
I got that.
Yeah, do you hear us? Frank?
You.
Yeah, you hear us?
Okay, I can't hear you.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Might have to pop in and out again. Maybe hit something by accident. Anyway, if you just jump in here, Frankie Edgar talking about the Hall of Fame stuff, the movie stuff. He's starring in a movie called The Bastard Sons. It's on Amazon. You hear us, Frankie?
What the fuck?
Maybe hop in, hop out. Hold on. Let me send you a message here. All right, hold on a second. Let's see here.
Ideas.
Hold on. Let me write him a message here. Hold on. Let's see. This is the beauty of live broadcasting here. Hop in. Oh, there we go. He just heard it. He just saw it. Okay. Yeah, we'll get Frankie back in here. There we go. Let's do this. All right, we'll wait for Frankie to get back into the picture. But anyway, like I was saying, it's on Amazon. If you have Prime, you can go check it out. The Bastard Sons is the movie, so go check out The Bastard Sons. Frankie makes, well, I mean, I guess technically not his acting debut, but I mean, he's got a lead role in a movie that he plays a pretty big part in on The Bastard Sons, and he, beats people up and gets shot in the neck and shit, and a lot of things happen. Frankie, you hear us?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay.
I had to log out, log back in. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, no worries. There we go. Boom. Okay. Yeah, no worries. That's the beauty of doing live broadcasting. It happens all the time. Yeah. But yeah, I was just telling the audience about the Bastard Sons, and Amazon is how you can see that. So please go check it out. Was it weird seeing yourself in a movie like that? All bloody and shit?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've definitely seen myself bloody before.
Yeah. Fake
blood. I don't like watching myself fight much and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely weird.
That must have been odd. Yeah, I mean, I always get weirded out if I watch a replay of my podcast. I can only imagine on the big screen, where you're acting as another human being and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. But anyway, back to the UFC stuff. I did want to talk to you about a couple of fights here that really stand out for me. As a fan who I kind of came in the sport a little bit late, I wasn't around for UFC 1, but when I was around, you were like just kicking ass, doing your thing, winning titles, and it was a pleasure to watch. But what's weird? Like the fights that stick out the most for me as a fan, the Yair Rodriguez one. I mean, Jesus Christ. Everyone was counting you out. Here's this young, shiny new toy in the UFC. They were clearly promoting this dude. And you go in there and just fuck him up. Was that one of the situations in your career? Does that stand out? You had some great moments, but where does that stand?
Yeah, that definitely is up there. I think I mentioned that. I don't know if it's my buddy or just some interview possibly. But, yeah, that's definitely one that stands out. I don't want to say it was a perfect performance, but I kind of buzzsawed through him, and just look at how good he is today, and I knew that win was gonna have a lot of value, throughout my career, just because based on how good he is.
Yeah. And what about the Chad Mendes fight? That's another. I remember. It's like imprinted in my head, the emotion coming out of you after you got that finish over there, first round. A lot of people are either like, well, it's going to be a decision, or Frankie's going to lose. Chad's a strong dude that hits hard, and you go in there and knock him out. I don't think a lot of people were giving you that chance, and you did that. So, like in a situation, where's Chad Mendes' fight? Is that above or under the Yair one?
That's what I've said. It's kind of funny because that's another fight I talked about. But the fights that stand out the most are obviously winning the title.
Sure. And
then the Gray Maynard 3. Those are probably like the top two. But then Yair, Chad Mendes, and I would say the Cub Swanson, the first Cub Swanson fight, all stand out pretty much.
Isn't it crazy? Like when you look at your resume, if you were to just go over to the Tapology and just take a look and scroll down through the thing, you're like, holy shit, I fought these guys. Do you ever think, was there ever a time where you looked across the cage and you were like, I cannot believe I'm fighting this human being? Has that ever crossed your mind?
BJ a little bit.
Yeah.
BJ just because there was I looked up to BJ. There was an aura about BJ at the time. he was the prodigy, and he was friggin' licking blood off his gloves. So a little bit, but you got to get over that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, do you call yourself BJ's daddy? Do you walk around saying that or no?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's funny. Like, I mean, you were always very respectful. It seemed like within the UFC, you never seemed like the McGregor type or anything like that. But it seems like when you're around Roger and you're having fun on your podcast, you're yourself and you're having a lot of fun, loosey goosey. Has there ever been a fight where you're like, hey, fuck this guy? Have you ever thought that?
I mean, in my mind, when you're looking across him, I always say, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
You got to have that moment. But as far as the lead up, not really. Me and Gray, I guess it was a little heated with the rivalry, but we had maybe I had some run-ins with him, fight week, and I was like, fuck, why is this guy acting like that? But it was just competitive shit, like nothing real.
And you're married, you have kids, beautiful family. When you were in the UFC, when you started in the UFC, were you with the same woman, or how long have you been married for?
I've been married for 15 years. Yeah, me and my wife were together since we were 19.
Wow. I tell you what, it seems like that's the secret sauce. Having a strong woman next to you while you're going through, like a lot of these fighters that we have on, it seems like when they're in a strong relationship, someone to pick them up when they fall down and vice versa, or if they're, cheer them on when they're winning, it seems like it helps tremendously. So when you met your wife 15 years ago, married for 15, you said?
Married for 15, yeah.
Oh.
I met, me and my wife were in the same kindergarten class.
Holy shit. So
that
you
was our wedding invitation.
That is insanity. So you knew this woman since you were kids, and when did you start dating?
We started dating my freshman year of college.
Wow. Holy cow. So did you guys ever break up and sow your oats, or you stayed with the same woman?
We had a little rough patches, but no, we stayed together pretty much for the whole time.
Wow, that's insanity. How the fuck? What's the secret? I am divorced, and then I remarried. I have a great wife, great family now, and I feel like I'm on the right path. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Jesse, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But what is the secret to a long relationship?
Oh, I don't know. Just be honest to each other, I guess. It's probably the best bet. And you got to find someone that you think you can be compatible with first.
Yeah.
I think some people jump in relationships a little too soon, and we were engaged for 5 years. So we definitely tested it out and made sure we could last, and we lived together pretty much from the beginning too. That helped.
Yeah, and I mean, you got your buddy Roger at the Jersey Shore fist pumping with the boys, right? I mean, that's got to be there's got to be a ton of temptation. You're a UFC fighter, you become a champion, the whole deal. How do you fight off temptation?
Oh man, I just it's just not my I try to just stay loyal, be a loyal person,
Yeah.
And I really don't put myself. I don't really go out too much, or if I do, it's with some close people. I'm not really out and about, for the most part.
Yeah.
Especially now, but even back then.
So you were pretty much focused on the craft too, right? All right. I mean, every time I see you, you're training or you're teaching. You're always involved in the sport. And I saw you on John Anik's podcast. You were calling in from the gym over there. You're constantly staying active, and I guess that keeps you straight and on the right path, right? Too.
Yeah. I mean, this is my life. I have to do this. I get up in the morning, I train. That's just my daily routine, and I'm actually opening a school of my own, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA school in my hometown. And this is my life. It'll always be my life. So yeah, I'm definitely staying after it.
That's awesome. And someone in our live chat mentioned bare knuckle. Like, it seems like people retire, and then all of a sudden, boom, Chad Mendes went over to bare knuckle. Are there any do you talk to anyone about maybe returning in combat sports in another way, or you ever think about that?
I mean, I don't know about bare knuckle, man. These guys get cut like crazy, dude. I feel like I got enough cuts on my face.
Yeah.
I would consider boxing at one point. I always wanted to box a pro boxing match, but I don't know. I'm not actively seeking anything. If something came across my desk, I guess you could say, maybe I'd consider it. But for the most part, I'm content.
There is and what's another amazing thing about you is never getting knocked out until that son of a bitch Ortega. But that Ortega fight, you were winning from what I remember. I mean, you were kind of fucking.
I thought I was winning. I I was pushing the pace, and that was kind of, I was pushing, and I remember in those fights with Maynard and even Benson, I don't really remember much, but I remember getting hit by Ortega. It was actually three hits. It was an elbow, a head kick, and then the uppercut finished it all. But it was three pretty good shots. And I remember the whole time when he rocked me with the first one, I was thinking, I knew time was coming up. Like, I got to make it out of this round. And then when I got stopped, I was upset. But I get why they stopped it.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like, that is one of the things I always wanted to talk to you about. It was like a big moment, right? And listen, I'm sure it's not the best memory in the world, but still, you're in the Hall of Fame. Who gives a fuck, right? Like, I mean, like any loss that's happened, I mean, now you could just wipe under the carpet because a former champion, Hall of Fame. I mean, does it irk you to talk about this stuff?
Nah, man, you got to come to terms with this. It definitely bothers me. It'll always bother me, but not enough to irk me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I think about it hard enough, yeah, it could bother me. I still have losses in wrestling that bother me. I'm just that guy. But I'm not. I don't let it. I don't want to be one of those guys that don't let
Like dwell in the past?
Dwell in the past or let the hurt get in the way of the joy. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I could have the hurt a little bit. It's okay. But I still have the joy, so that's all good.
Well, the beauty, too, is you got out at the right time. I understand it wasn't the way you wanted to, but still, you got out at the right time. So newer fans that come into the game, they still look at Frankie Edgar, and they don't say, oh, well, this happened and that happened. It's like, every fighter has their day. Some fighters stay too long, like, for instance, BJ Penn, right? Like that guy or Tony Ferguson. It's like, whoa. Yeah. Why stick around? So I feel like you did it right. Like, you took another shot. You had your family and this whole thing, but now here you are in the Hall of Fame, and everyone's going to remember you for all your success and your great moments. So, I mean, I feel like you made it. You did it, right?
Yeah, no, I like I said, I really can have no regrets. Do I wish I won every single fight I went in? Of course. But that ain't life. And, I really don't, would I do anything differently? I don't know if I would, because the way things out made me the person I am and gave me the life that I have. And I'm grateful, man. I have, first and foremost, my kids are healthy and, are loved, and we have a roof over our head, all that stuff. So, I'm blessed. And, man, I lived an amazing life thus far. I got to live a Rocky movie. Like, Rocky's probably a big part of how I ended up being a fighter, believe it or not. And, I got to live a little bit of a life like that.
Has anyone approached you about your life story? I mean, Jesus, if there's a movie to made, that seems like it's it.
No, nobody yet. But hey, someone out there listening, hey,
I mean, right? Like, how could that not be a story? Your story, literally. I mean, you wrapped it up in a little bow. You're going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's the thing. Do you now when you walk around the streets, when you're holding your wife's hand, or if your wife, gets into an argument with you, do you like, hey, I'm a Hall of Famer? Like, do you ever say that to her or no?
I hit her with a text today about something. I'm like, I was like, I'm famous. Yeah.
That's I mean, you got a great sense of humor, like that's what everyone's loved about you, anything in a fight in the cage. Can you give us the funniest moment? I mean, you're in the craziest job ever. You're in your underwear in a cage fighting in front of a bunch of people. Has there ever been a moment where you just wanted to laugh, like something was crazy that happened? Someone say something like in an exchange or something like that?
No, not really. Honestly, for the most part, no. I remember one time when I fought BJ Penn the first time we fought in Abu Dhabi, and it was outside, and I remember bugs whipping by me, and I remember thinking like, man, this is just like fighting in Seaside. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, this is very familiar.
Speaking of Seaside, I mean, I've been to Seaside many of times. I mean, that's a place. I always tell people this: we go out. We try to pick up girls. If we didn't pick up girls, we get into a fight. Like, that was the fucking
That's
dude.
What it is.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you've had many of experiences like that?
Many experiences. Yeah. I would say I honed my skills on that boardwalk.
Yeah. Now it's like you can't do that. You see the ear and you got to back off, right? I mean, now it's a whole different ball game. But I remember when I was a kid, you would go to the bar. There was no cauliflower ear or anything. You didn't know who you were fucking with. Now there's a sign, right? When people see you, they like, oh wait, this is a UFC fighter. Do they kind of back off now if they don't know?
I mean. Since I've been in the UFC, I have never gotten a fight outside of the UFC, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. And known as the guy, as the upset guy, the smaller guy, 3 weight classes. I mean, that's got to be something that makes you proud, right? Looking back and saying, man, is it true that you had rocks in your pocket to make weight, like your coach said? Is that true?
No, but I mean, I literally was, 150. When I first started, I was probably 152, 153, and I wasn't very big.
Wow, that's crazy, man. And I remember Dana White saying a lot too. You don't belong in that weight class. You'd still fight over there. Like you didn't care. It must have been great not to have to make weight, right?
Yeah, no. The first half of my, for I think the first 15 fights of my career, I was at 55. I would eat the whole week. I mean, fight week I would go out. I'd eat amazing food all week, dude. It was great.
That's awesome.
Wrestling, I cut weight. I wrestled 141 in wrestling, but went right up to 55, and I wasn't cutting anything.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah, you have that wrestling background, and weight cutting's a thing, right? That's just goes hand in hand with wrestling. But yet in the UFC, you're like, nah, I want to fight at 155. So why did you make that decision?
Well, at the time, 55 was the lightest weight class.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's correct.
They didn't have 45 and 30. They didn't have any weight classes below 55. Actually, when I very first started fighting, they didn't even have a 55-pound division in the UFC. Actually,
you're right.
They dropped it for like a couple years. So I thought I was gonna have to fight in Japan, and then obviously they brought the title back.
It's like the women now, like the atom weights, are fighting a weight class higher because there's no atom weight, right, in the UFC. So you see these undersized women doing that. Do you think they're ever going to have an atom weight in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably for the women, I think so, just because they build a little bit smaller. There's probably a bunch of them that would want to compete.
Yeah,
as long as there's a market for it, yeah, I think so.
What do you think about Kayla Harrison getting signed, like out of nowhere, getting signed with the UFC? That's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we share the same management, so I knew before everybody, but I didn't tell nobody. But no, it is kind of, I mean, not overly surprising. Kayla wants to fight the best people. That's the UFC.
Tell me a little bit. Your manager, Ali Abdelaziz, which, I mean, listen, talk about one of the best managers out there. If you want to surge up the rankings, get paid, the whole thing, fight for a title, it seems like he's the guy. Catches a lot of heat. In fact, when we started this show in 2016, we had like a fan come in and tell us a story about you and Ali Abdelaziz, and then like all this weird drama and shit like that. But he seems, when I talk to the fighters about him, when we have his fighters on the show, everyone has nothing but nice things to say about Ali. So what could you say about Ali? Yeah,
Ali's honest, loyal. He fiercely cares about his guys, and you come after his guys, he takes that shit personal.
Yeah.
He's just a real street guy, and like a street guy, and I mean that in a good way. He has some morals that, you would want as someone having your back.
Sure. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a business, right? And this guy's looking to protect his people.
For sure. He takes it personal sometimes, but that's because that's how he does. He does it hard.
Yeah, for sure. We got an alert that came in over here. This is from
Super Chat.
It's from Angel Gotti. Look at this. Hold on.
Hello, Mos and Frankie. Congratulations, Frankie Edgar.
Look at that. Congratulations from Angel Gotti.
That's awesome.
So you
That's
did
John Gotti's daughter. That's John Gotti's daughter.
Yeah, could you fucking believe this? I absolutely adore her. She is she's got a YouTube channel as well. She's such a sweetheart,
She is. We did an interview with her a couple weeks ago. She's very, very nice lady.
She said she's very attracted to you. What do you think about this?
I'm a married man.
So you're not going to be running off with Angel Gotti?
No.
Yeah, I mean that could be scary too, because if you break up, you never know, right? It could go south.
Yeah, geez, that's a lot of baggage. A lot of baggage.
I have another alert here. This is from Kainotto coming in.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
Frankie, we normally bust people's balls when they come on the show, but I have the utmost respect for you. You are MMA royalty. Your fights against Maynard are right up there, if not better than Gotti versus Ward. Thank you for all you have done for the sport.
Pretty nice words, right?
Yeah, very nice words. Thank you. I thought he was gonna sneak a joke in there somewhere. But all right, I'll take it.
Well, listen, I got a couple of minutes here. If you have a couple of minutes, do you mind if I open up calls, have people come in and talk to you?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Hey, I appreciate it. All right, so here's the deal. You don't really see this much in interviews, and I like to have a little fun with the guests over here. So we have an audience. They're watching live now, and I thank you for the donations. I appreciate that. Hit the like button. Frankie Edgar's here. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, okay? You could click that link. You can come on the stream and talk to Hall of Famer Frankie Edwards. Let me set this up really quick over here. Give me a second, Frankie. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay. Okay, we're going to pop this up. Alrighty. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to drop a link. By the way, if you have the link from previous streams, come on in. Make it very, very quick, okay? I don't want you guys to fucking, give me the longest question in the world. We have a little bit of time here to talk to Frankie. He has a movie that's out on Amazon, and it's called The Bastard Sons. And did your family get to see the movie? Did you watch it with the whole fam?
My sons and my wife. My daughter hasn't seen it. My middle son is actually in the movie. He has a little cameo role in the movie.
There you go. Oh, he does have a cameo. I didn't. And by the way, I said Edwards by accident. I'm sorry, Frankie. I got kids. I'm all fucked up. It's Frankie Edgar. I know. I'm fucking.
All good.
I'm fucking old. Leave me alone. Anyway, thank you, Frankie, for being calm with me. Here we go. We have a call coming in. This is from Kevin from Chicago. Here we go. Kevin, how's it going, man? You're live with Frankie.
Frank the Tank, what's up, baby?
What's up, Kev? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I gotta say, a lot of people say, oh, their favorite fighter and this and that. Legit, my favorite fighter. I used to, growing up, I relate to you so much. I was the undersized guy. I was the little guy. But it's that wrestling background. It's that toughness. You're just born with it or you're not, and you're born with it. Growing up, wrestling, the tenacity, I see it in you. I see it in me. That's what I wanted to talk about. You grew up in New Jersey wrestling. I grew up in Illinois. I did the whole thing. I did the freestyle circuit this summer. I won a state title in high school. Even did Greco, went out to Fargo. Do they do the same thing over in Jersey? The summer, it's all year round wrestling? How does that work?
Yeah, you got to get after it all year round. The summer, I started wrestling late, so I didn't go to Fargo, all that stuff. But my sons are wrestling. He wrestles all summer long. That's what you got to do, man. You got to put the time in.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Kevin, real quick?
Legend, Frank. Legend.
My man.
That guy, Kevin from Chicago, he calls all the shows. And he's the caller. He's the guy that calls everyone. And he says a lot of shitty things about fighters. So for him to say nice things about you is pretty fucking wild, Frank.
All right, I love it.
All right, here we go. We got from Canada. This is Two Joints. Two Joints, welcome to the stream.
Hey, Frankie, how you doing, brother? It's a super big honor to meet you, man. Never talked to you. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
That's great. And congrats on the Hall of Fame. The movie you're in, the family, bro. You're making the rest of us look really shitty here. I mean, my next life, I'm gonna pick up my game and get my shit together. But just a quick question, bro. When you were growing up, was there something else you wanted to do aside from get into MMA? Like, did you want to play hockey or did you want to play football, brother?
When I was the type of person, if I did something, I wanted to be the best at it. And baseball is really big where I'm from. Big baseball community. So I played baseball for a little bit, and I remember I wanted to be a professional baseball player. And I went to a baseball camp, and some coach was there. He was like a guest clinician. He's like, "Hey, look around! Everybody, look around." He's like, "How many people want to be a pro baseball player?" Everybody put their hands up. He's like, "Well, probably none of you are gonna end up doing that." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Fuck this sport." That's when I was like, "I don't like baseball no more."
That's great. So just before I go, Frankie, stick to the acting, bro. I really see you in the next Expendables movie, man. Randy Couture ain't cutting it, bro. I think you could fit in his role pretty easy. So thanks for talking to me, bro, and all the best of luck.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, my man.
There we go. That's 2 joints coming in. Here's another one. This is from Angel Gotti again. Oh my God,
Frankie, it was Mose who said he was attracted to you. Wonderful, wonderful.
Angel just ratted me out. She said I was attracted to you.
Yeah. Hey, I have that effect. It's all right.
Okay, thank you, Angel. That's it. I'm unsubscribing to your channel. How dare you?
Super chat.
This is from Freddie O. Thank you, Freddie O.
Frankie Edgar on the show is wonderful, wonderful.
That's true. He is wonderful. That's our catchphrase. Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Let me add one more call over here. This is from Sonosi. Sonosi, you're live with Frankie Edgar.
What's up?
What's up, my man?
And I see another East Coaster around here.
Okay, like that.
All right, so I have a funny question. Since you're getting into acting and all this stuff, what is one film series, past or present, you would have chosen to go in if you could?
Ooh. Past or present?
Or TV series, since there's so many.
Okay, TV series. Dude, I'd like to have been like in maybe like a Dexter. Be like a Dexter. Have Dexter kill me or something like that. It'd be kind of dope, you know.
Hopefully not the new show. The new one sucked.
Yeah. The new Dexter. It was all right.
People in the chat are saying Breaking Bad. That's like my all-time favorite.
Breaking Bad is probably my favorite. I think Breaking Bad is from beginning to end. It's the best show.
I'm with you, man. I am. Did you watch Game of Thrones too, or is that too crazy?
I did. The ending Game of Thrones killed it. I mean, the show was great, but the ending killed it.
Well, you didn't like the batshit crazy queen that just burnt down the whole fucking village.
None of it made sense.
All right, Sonosi, you got anything else for Frankie?
Oh yeah, one more thing, real quick. Your nickname, The Answer, sounds like a hitman nickname. Where did you get that nickname for?
My teammate gave it to me. I had the answer. For whatever anybody got. That's what he said. He got the answer. Kind of stuck. Sounds good with Edgar.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks.
Sonosi. There's Sonosi calling in. Well, Frankie, listen, man. This was a fantastical segment over here. I appreciate you being a good sport with the viewers. And I would love to have you on again, man. Like, seriously, just to shoot the shit if you'd be down.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. I'm down.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. And the podcast is The Champ and the Tramp. Go follow that over there. You can watch it on YouTube. Is there anywhere else you can see it?
Rumble, Spotify, everywhere podcasts are available.
Awesome. And The Bastard Sons on Amazon. Anywhere else it's on besides Amazon?
Amazon, iTunes, Vudu.
Awesome. Very good stuff here. Hey, Frankie, listen, this was actually a pleasure to have you on. You've been a great sport talking to the people out there, and I can't wait to chat with you again.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris, man. Look forward to it, brother.
Awesome.
All the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Frankie, the Answer, Edgar on the show. What? Come on. Starring in The Bastard Sons, it's not over, friends. It is not over. We're just getting started over here. Hit the like button, share it with your friends. Thank you for the donations. Oh, fuck, I just saw one over here. Hold on a second. Thank you. Nicole, what's up, Nicole?
So I missed the show, but my question is, why did you choose to fight?
I chose to fight because, listen, it was in my blood. Oh, you talking about Frankie? Well, next time, Nicole. We'll ask that next time. Thank you so much, Nicole, for the donation. We have another guest about to come on the program, and I'm excited about this as well. Listen, I'm a big fan of movies. I like watching movies, and I like watching messed up movies. I like watching bloody movies. I like to watch. I like to drag my wife through movies that just make you cringe from the violence. And, well, hold on a second. Well, oh boy.
You make him lose the fight terribly inside of the cage. You make him spread his ass cheeks. Now you enter his backstage, and you fill it with your rage. Come on, style bender, one fight. Is he his inside coaster? Is he his inside coaster?
Thank God Frankie wasn't here for that. Jesus.
This is Great Bug Mouse. Shout out Angel Gotti, Frankie fucking Edgar. Hell yeah, one of the best to ever do it. Kainotto.
Thank you, D-Man, and thank you to everyone, and thank you to everyone for the donations tonight. Really appreciate the generosity. You guys and gals are absolutely wonderful, wonderful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we're not stopping over here on the MMA-Holes Live. We have another special guest. Now, this is a little bit different than the norm, but I'm actually very excited about this because my wife, who is my co-host, but she's with the kids right now, she was actually very excited about this. Maybe because this guy's extra handsome and he's always has his shirts off in these movies. It could be that. I don't know. But she always wanted to be an actress. And on the show, we get to have a leading man. From the Bastard Sons. This man's been in many movies. This man is a goddamn celebrity, and we are blessed to have live on the MMA-Holes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a warm welcome to Kevin Internadonato.
What's up, guys? What's going on? How you doing, Chris?
Kevin, how's it going?
Fantastic. That was great with Frankie, man. I was all into it. I love your show, man. I really appreciate you having me on. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for stopping by as well. I appreciate it. Listen, having Frankie on is insanity to me because, like, I showed the picture of him earlier, 2016. I'm taking a piss next to him. I'm like, holy fuck, it's Frankie Edgar. And he's one of the reasons why we started the whole damn show. So it was really cool to have him on.
Crazy, man. Yeah, he's a hell of a guy, man.
Yeah, so, okay, look at you, Mr. Movie Star over here. Look at you. I mean, bigger than life. You got this big movie on Amazon, The Bastard Sons. You got a UFC Hall of Famer in the movie with you. I mean, you got to be riding pretty high right now.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It's such an insane amount of work that I really didn't take time to kind of sit back and take it all in yet. But it is what's great is the response to the movie. I never directed before, so to jump in and people have been kind of interested in it, man. It feels great. It's cool.
Yeah, so I just want to say to the live chat right now, this is Kevin Internadonato. He is the lead man of this movie, The Bastard Sons. Now, listen, I know we're an MMA channel. We talk about the UFC, all this stuff, but we have to address this. This man has Frankie Edgar in the movie, for God's sakes. And he's part of the team. They're beating people up. They're shooting people. They're hitting people with bats. It's insanity over here. How did you link up with Frankie? He said you were on his podcast?
Yeah. Frankie and Roger Matthews had me on their podcast. And it was a good time. We just kind of hit it off. I grew up about 15 minutes from Frankie, so I knew some of the same people. And, just kind of click, So I stayed in touch with them, and when it came time to, getting the movie together, half the cast is non-actors, so I just said, who am I gonna get? I got my dad in there, my buddies, I grew up with, and I was thinking of Frankie and Roger, and I was like, these guys would be good. They'd be good because they're in the spotlight all the time. There's something to look for, like, how do I say this without being long-winded? When you start acting, the whole goal is to not act, so. If you can find comfort when someone says action, all these people are around you and you're just kind of settled. Frankie and Roger both have that. They've been in the limelight for so long that they don't even know the camera's on. So there's like this tangible element they both had without even realizing it. And they're both, rough dudes, especially Frankie, and just kind of worked. So I asked them both. They said, yeah, and that was that.
Yeah, it had to be pretty easy directing a guy, especially during like fight scenes and stuff like that, or action scenes, to have Frankie involved in it. It must have been a pleasure to have him on the set, right?
Yeah, it was. It was fun. He hit it all. Everyone loved him, man. He was really excited. It was all new to him. I think he did a commercial a few years back, but he never did like a film. Carried a story and played a character and like realized like the arc of things. So it was new water for him, but. He jumped right in, man. He jumped right in.
That's awesome.
Way better than most people would.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen other UFC fighters give it a go, and I don't think they pulled it off as good as Frankie did. Frankie actually did a very good job, and it seemed like the role was perfect. It was like written for him, it seemed like.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's a testament to him. He just kind of settled in. We talked about the wardrobe and all that kind of stuff, and what the character was like, and yeah, he just dug it, man. It just kind of clicked. All the fellas clicked. And I knew everyone in the movie. I only like working with friends, man. So I don't audition anybody or nothing like that. I just kind of called everyone up, said you want in or out, and that was it.
That must have been pretty cool to like. I mean, here you are. You wrote and directed this movie.
Yeah.
Wow, and produced it, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is your complete baby, right? So here you are, and you have friends and family involved in this. So this is almost like a childhood dream, right? We spoke about Frankie, about dreams and then being able to achieve those goals. with you, I mean, now this is your wheelhouse. You're an actor, and now you're behind the camera, you're in front of the camera, you get your friends, you get your family. Did you have to pinch yourself when you were making this movie?
Yeah, a couple times I did, man. It was exciting. I mean, it wasn't a big budget at all compared to most films. So the odds are so stacked against you that the the focus is a little intense sometimes. And playing that role, excuse me, and then directing and going back to the scene and then cut and directing and going back. It was a pretty serious set. You know, sometimes we got lighthearted and everything, but time was against us, and I didn't want to fuck up. You know, I didn't want to fuck up. So yeah, it was pretty intense, man. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, it must have been a lot more pressure, right? I mean, because it is your baby, you want to make sure that, I mean, you stood out. You definitely stood out in this movie for sure. I mean, you can tell that you took it very serious, the way you portrayed the character of Vincent, correct? That's the name of the character? Yeah. And where did this idea come from? Like the whole script and everything like that. How did this pop into your head?
It was crazy. It didn't. So I'm from Jersey, and years ago I auditioned for a film shooting. That was auditioning down near Atlantic City. So I drove 2 hours down, auditioned, got the role, and it was a young man who wrote and was going to direct this script, and the funding fell through.
Oh,
happens all the time, man. It's one of those things, you know. So we stayed in touch. He was a good dude, and I moved to LA. He ended up moving to LA. We worked together out there on some short films. I moved back to Jersey. He moved to wherever the fuck, all over the place. But we just stayed in touch. But anyway, that script just sat from 15 years prior. So COVID started, and I was like, shit, man, I got no work. My wife's an actress. She's very accomplished in the business, and we were just dry. You know, we had a 5-month-old baby at the time.
Wow.
So, you know, you're married, you get the deal. You know, we all got mortgage and shit. And I'm like, I got to do something. So I just started writing, and I was like, man, I wonder what would happen with that script. So I called up Glenn Rodriguez, who's one of my producing partners on the film, and I said, what's up with that script, man? So we pulled it up and blew the dust off of it, and I rewrote it. You know, it was written by an 18-year-old kid, you know, so wow. Things changed, but the concept of these 5 guys that grew up together in a crime family was there. Everything else was completely new, but it was just that element of these 5 guys, and I would like to do something like that, you know, and that's it. Just kind of let the pencil fly, and that was that, man.
It's got to be so much fun that, you know, Jersey, you know, you got this crime movie and stuff like that. Like everything it just is like cliche but fun, right? Like that, you know, you kind of grew up in this world, and you were on The Sopranos as well. I found the clip. My wife is a massive Sopranos fan, and I was like, where is this clip? Where I found it, where you're chasing the guy down the street, shaking him down. What was it like being in The Sopranos?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What was it like being in The Sopranos?
Oh man, that was cool. It was short-lived, and I had a couple more scenes, but things get cut all the time, you know. It was wild. And it was shooting in Jersey. I lived in Jersey, and it was just so many people were trying to get on that show, and I don't know how the fuck it happened, man. I just auditioned a couple of times, did my thing, and that was that. And you have no control over that stuff, Chris. It's just if you fit, it's just apples and oranges, man. So I was lucky enough to just fit. And that was that. But man, the food on that set, oh my God, I must have gained like 10 pounds in like a week. It was just anything you would imagine, man. To figure The Sopranos, all these Italians, you know, and they had like 2 chefs making you whatever you want. And it was great. It was great.
That must have been something else, man. A lot of gabagool there, and what do we have? La bolognese. Oh man, I tell you, I miss the East Coast so much. I was telling Frankie how I was in New York for many years, and then we picked up during COVID. Actually, we decided, fuck New York, we're out of here. We're going to Arizona because New York is just falling apart. I don't know how's Jersey right now. I mean, Jersey can't be like New York. I mean, New York's a hot mess. I don't know. How's Jersey been?
Real Jersey people aren't too crazy about New York, man.
Yeah,
we're Jersey people. New York's New York, dude. You know what I mean? I go in when I have to, and that's that. But I commend you for leaving. That place is it's mayhem, dude. Especially now. If my wife has to go to the city, I'm like, just drive in. Don't get on those subways. You know, they're freaking scary, man. All those wackos out there and shit. So it's you're not missing nothing.
It's so funny that you say that. Like, I was trying to explain to someone that New York and New Jersey is not the same. It's very different.
No.
Like, I remember when I was there, someone would say, you're from Jersey. I'm like, no, I'm not. You know, I would say, and vice versa. Yeah. Someone from Jersey would be like, fuck off. I'm not from New York, you know? And people don't understand. It's a different place. Just because the New York Giants play there, you know, it doesn't mean that we're together, right? Like, we're still, for some reason, we're a bunch of weirdos. I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah. And I live right down the street from the Giant Stadium there. It's funny, man. It's like, especially living in LA, which is like a massive melting pot. Whenever you meet people, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you meet someone from a different area and like, oh, cool, where you from? And this person's, oh, I'm from LA, Chicago, you know, Seattle, this, that. Someone always references like this major city. And then you're like, oh, really? Where? And they're like, well, like 30 minutes south. Or I'm like, you know, 45 minutes west of that. In New Jersey, there's no city. If someone's from New Jersey and somebody asks you where you're from, you just say Jersey.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just this statewide pride. And I had a feeling, man, well, I had a hope. I had a really strong hope that this movie would resonate, not only everywhere, you know, which I'm really thankful and surprised that it has, but Jersey really took it under its wings so far. It's really cool, man. It's really great, all the feedback we've been getting.
Yeah, it definitely had a Jersey feel to it for sure. Like when I was watching it, you felt it. It didn't feel like a set, you know, it felt like, oh, they're actually at these locations in Jersey. And you were saying like people did favors and stuff like that where you can use their properties for scenes?
Yeah, that's how it gets done, man. It's like it's hard to walk away from something and not feel like, you know, you just got so many Christmas presents, you don't even know how to say thank you, you know?
Yeah.
People outside of me enabled this movie to happen. The people that were on the production, outside of the production, you know, we shot at the Wonder Bar in this, you know, in Asbury Park, you know, we're at restaurants and bakeries and all kinds of stuff you think of, you know, and this one shot, actually the scene where Frankie had the gunfight, remember that one?
Yeah.
Where he's going nuts. I did a movie years ago in Jersey called Blue Collar Boys. These guys were great, man. It's a towing company, but they have this massive yard with all these cars and trucks and tractors that haven't moved for years. Fucking vines growing through the tires and everything. I mean, but it looks like right out of like a movie set. So I went back to this dude years later. I said, hey, remember me? And he said, yeah. I said, looking to make this movie. And he said, you got to shoot here. Look at this place. So he takes me in the back and he's like, he gets in his forklift and he goes, I'll design the set however you want it. I was like, wow. And they're doing business, man. This is just in the back of their business. So he goes in the back. He goes, I'll be right back. You got to see this car. He goes in the back. I hear all this clanking around and shit. And all of a sudden I see this red Cadillac, like raising in the sky out of nowhere. And he turns around and drives forth me. And it's got like mud all over it. Tires are flat. And he said, trust me, this car will clean up. He's like, you want to use it in a movie? And I said, fuck yeah. So we hosed it off real quick. And I said, yeah, I do. So these guys just threw a battery in it, washed it. That window that was going up and down.
Yeah.
That was the real sound in the window. That was, and that's the only thing that worked in the car was the window. So they just parked the car there, moved everything around for us and literally made that set. And they had pizza with us and he wouldn't take $1.
Oh,
you know, like, how do you pay somebody back for that, man?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna put him in the next movie or something like that? Is that the?
He called me up the other day. He said, Kev, he's like, I got like this Bentley, like one side of it's really fucked up. But if you just show the other side, we're good to go. He's like, I'll hold on to it for you. I said, all right, man, just hold on to it.
That's fucking awesome, man. Dude, I love it, man. That's what I miss about the East Coast. Like, I don't know, there's something about that's not quite here. Like I'm in the desert, so but I mean, when you were in California, I mean, there was probably a lot of snakes and shady people. Like, what was show business like over there?
I felt like I was a pretty, I'm one of the, I guess you would call like an extroverted introvert or whatever. You know, I've kind of walked both lines. When I was in LA, I just felt like an absolute introvert and a hermit. I didn't click with anyone. I made friends, good friends, you know, but no one was really from Los Angeles. They were from around the way. And I just worked, man. I just worked like a son of a bitch. And I also learned, because I was doing okay with the acting business, I learned how to make film and, you know, met a lot of distributors and all that stuff, because I knew I was going to make films eventually. So I'm like, let me just gear up now. And that was that. But it was just a different world out there, so much so that I met my wife, and she's from Rhode Island, kept it East Coast. We met up and we wanted to have a kid. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to raise a kid out here. So we hopped on out, came to Jersey, and now I got a beautiful little 4-year-old that doesn't stop punching me in the face, and it's great. It was cool.
Beautiful family, and your wife is an actress as well, right? She's doing pretty well herself. What
she's great.
What is she in right now?
Now, nothing. She was on a show called City on a Hill with Kevin Bacon for a couple seasons. And then the show ended. So the business is like this, you know, it's a tough lifestyle. You just got to get callous to it after a while and just sit in the pocket, you know?
I always wanted to ask this question to an actor. I'm thrilled to have you on. By the way, if you just jump into the stream, this is Kevin Internadonato. He is a famous actor over here. The Bastard Sons is the movie on Amazon. Go see it. And he's always got his shirt off. That's great. You know, is that in your contract? You have to have your shirt off in every movie? Like, what's going on here?
Dude, I don't want to. I gotta fucking suck out for that shit. And no, man. It's not like I like doing it, man. No.
Well, I mean, if I had a body like you, I'd be running around naked all the time, too. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you took your shirt off. I almost covered my wife's eyes. I was like, yeah, you can't watch this part.
That don't mean nothing, man. It's just how it goes. That's all.
But your wife is an actress as well. She's acting with Kevin Bacon. And do you ever get like, you guys ever bust each other's balls? Like, I always thought that was weird. Like, if both husband and wife are actors or actress, and there's like a love scene or some shit like that. Do you ever like, oh fuck, I don't want them to do that? Do you ever think that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, you know, it's
so how do you handle
it? I'm still a normal dude, man. You know, like it's just because I'm an actor doesn't mean I'm all flighty and shit. I mean, that stuff. You know, we look, we know what it's like, and it's extremely uncomfortable on set. Don't forget, there's like 20 people around, like within 5 feet. You know what I mean? Like when you have to do stuff, it sucks. It's not like you could even get aroused if you wanted to. It's the most awkward, weird situation in the world. Most people are in relationships or married, and you just kind of go through the motions and just do it, and then that's that. Like nobody wins awards for that shit.
Yeah,
you know, you never heard like, you know, the Oscars got best supporting, best lead, best this, you know, best bang scene. That doesn't happen.
That needs to happen.
You're not trying to, so you're not actually, when you do it, you're not actually trying to do it like great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get into it, you do what you got to do, and then it's over, and you move on. You're like, all right, done. Thank God that shit's over.
Yeah.
But with her and me, we're pros about it. We talk about it. If she comes up with something, I'm like, what exactly is it? You know what I mean? And, you know, she's pretty, I think I'm a lot more, you know, testy than she is. She's a lot more forgiving. She's like, I trust you. I'm like, I trust you too. I just don't fucking trust anybody else. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's a beautiful woman, right? So, I mean, like, you know, I mean, I would worry as well. My wife always said she wanted to be an actress, right? She always brought that up. And I was like, I don't know if I could handle her. Like, I don't know, like kissing other dudes and shit like that. Like, it'd freak me out. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's part of the job, right? And it's like, there's no real emotional connection, like you said, with all the people around. So when you were...
No, I ended up getting tight with it's funny because I have a lot, my friends that she's made in the business, I got tight with.
Okay.
And vice versa. So... if she has scenes with a dude, if there's like a respect thing, and I keep this up. If there's someone that I have to do a scene with, another woman, I make sure that Amanda knows who she is. I make sure they talk. I make sure Amanda's on set. Like, you got to introduce them a little bit, so it's not like this person they never met before, and all of a sudden, because it's literally like, hey man, I you know, going to work. I'll see you tonight.
Yeah.
And they know what's going on that day, and you know what's going on that day, and it's like. So you don't want to make it awkward, you know? So it's just kind of leave it to that, you know? Try to make it as easy as possible, go through the motions, and then when it's done, it's done.
So you're saying in the Bastard Sons, there was no wood in any of those bed scenes, correct?
No.
All right. Okay, just making sure. I mean, the first thing I noticed is she had massive breasts. I was like, gee, did you purposely pick someone with big breasts to be your love interest in the movie? I couldn't stop looking. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No, man. No,
okay.
Anastasia's cool. She's a great gal. I did a movie with her, I think like 3 years prior. Yeah. And just stayed in touch, you know what I mean? I knew she'd be perfect for this kind of thing. And she had a great personality. She's great on camera, and she just came in and rocked it out. Yeah.
I tell you, you're a fucking nice dude, man. So I was at the gym today. I was listening to some of the interviews previously to get, you know, a little backstory on you. You served in the military, and the reason why you didn't do the Sopranos extra season with The Sopranos is because of the military, correct? Like you were deployed or something?
Yeah, it was a weird situation, man. I mean, I was young at the time. Even though I got that role, it doesn't mean that I knew what the hell was going on in my life. You know, I wasn't getting work as an actor at all. When I tell you it came out of left field, it came out of left field.
Wow.
So there was, after the show ended, I only did, you know, I was only on really 2 episodes. They cut the scenes out and everything, and that was it in the other episode. But there's downtime, you know. For a year, it was just like nothing. I was living with my buddies in a town called Belmar at the shore, and it was just dead. I was trying to find work. I was writing at the time, and, you know, little short films, student films here and there. And then I got the call, you know, and to come in and read for the role again. And what happened was, when I got the call, I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then I got the other call from a National Guard unit.
Wow.
And I was crushing, but I still went in to read for David Chase again, you know what I mean? And do a little thing there. And I remember walking up, I think I was like 24, and I was just crushed. I'm not much of a crier, but I was just dying inside, even before I went to just go read and say hello. And, you know, because sometimes I just got to see the scenes and everything. And I went there and I just completely bombed it. And it's not like I lost the part. I had the part, but I was just off. I was gone. And I knew I wouldn't be able to do it anyway if they said, okay, we're rocking tomorrow. And that was it. And they said, you know, Kev, you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm all right. And I left, and I was like, you know, one of those, what the fuck's going on in my life kind of moments. I didn't know what was going to happen. And that was that, man. You know, I called up the casting director afterwards, and I said, look, I'm sorry. I can't even do it if I wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
And that was it.
I tell you, this is a very selfish interview. And by the way, if you're just jumping into the stream, this is Kevin Interdonato. He has a movie called The Bastard Son, starring himself and Frankie Edgar, who we had on earlier. If you missed Frankie, run it back. Let me know in the comments what you think. But like I said, this is a very selfish thing for me because our friend Angel Gotti and Lee Cole passed over the information that, you know, they were going to interview you. And Lee Cole says, hey, man, do you want to interview Frankie and Kevin? I was like, fuck yeah. You know, entrepreneur, you know, chasing a dream. I mean, your story seems really pretty magical, and it's still, you know, being written, the story. What kind of advice would you give to people in a tough business that you're in with acting and all this stuff? What kind of advice would you give to people trying to get into this game?
Oh boy, as an actor?
Yeah.
Different game. I was just talking to my buddy about this the other night. It's a different world, man, than it was coming in. When I started those first few years, it was about talent. It was about, you know, and all the other things that go with it. You know, it was just the tail end of who's the best for the role. Mm-hmm. Then things started getting skewed, you know. MySpace came out, I remember, and it was like this thing, like people started getting all these, you know, online presence, and then Facebook and then Instagram and everything. And all of a sudden, these actual numbers on their social media started becoming like these tangible factors in the movie business. And it was a little less and less about talent, and a little more and more about, you know, getting butts and seats. From a business perspective, I get it. I'm not going to fight the system. Like, I get it, you know? It's not wrong. But if someone was starting out in a business, if I had someone tell me, like, Kevin, don't do that, you know, don't waste time doing this, because you make a lot of honest mistakes you don't know. I would honestly tell people to, aside from just learn how to be an actor, I'd say develop a second career for yourself, because you have to sustain somehow, some way in this business, because the money in the acting world is not what everybody may think. It's a periodic and temporary existence, and the money comes and then the money goes. And when it goes, what do? So you have to have some kind of trait, some kind of trade. I mean, a talent and something else that you can sustain while you're being an actor, so it doesn't interfere with your acting business. That's 1. 2, I'd say go to business school. If you don't know business, 3, go to accounting school.
Yeah. Wow. So it's, I mean, listen, you're in a job that everyone dreams of, right? Like, as a kid, people always want to, you know, make their own home movies and stuff like that, and say, wow, that'd be cool to be an actor. And you know, you bring up like asses and seats. I feel like the superhero movie genre kind of fucked everything up. You know, like the explosion of everything's got to be a superhero movie, you know, or no one gives a fuck. And it seems like horror movies are big now too. I've noticed, are a big deal. And by the way, Malicious. Is this a horror movie? I got to check this. I just saw this today, the trailer. I got to go check this out. Is this a horror movie?
That's a horror thriller, man. That one's popping right now. That came out of nowhere. I was surprised. Yeah.
And I mean, another movie with your shirt off, so I'm gonna go see that for sure. So where could we see this one? Is this on Amazon as well?
Yeah, that's Amazon and iTunes and Tubi.
Tubi, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna torture my wife with that one because she hates horror movies, or you know, she's like anything with murder and like it freaks her out that could actually happen. She goes nuts. But I love that shit. Like that's like my wheelhouse right there. So I got to fucking check that out. That must have been fun.
Intense. It's intense. It's like, I mean, some women really like it. It's a pretty there's a hook of a film there. But it's a pretty intense, offbeat kind of piece. So
yeah. Did you have a blast? You must have. It looks like from the trailer, it looked like you had a blast making that movie.
I had a fucking ball, man. It was because I did 3 features. So I wrote 3 scripts pretty quickly over COVID.
Okay.
And then I said, you know, I didn't want to be like, there's a lot of people in this business, Chris, that are just in the business and they like saying they're in the business.
Yeah.
And I was never that guy. So if I was going to write, I'm like, well, if I'm going to write, I'm not going to write this script, write the end, put it on my shelf and go crack a beer and pat myself on the back. I mean, I'm going to fucking make this movie if I'm going to spend all this time writing it, you know? Aside from how creatively impassioned and driven I am, like we were talking about before, you know, kid, wife, mortgage, you know, and it's just a responsibility I feel as a man, you know? So I'm like, I'm going to get these done by hook or by crook. So I ended up writing 3 scripts and somehow, some way, man, someone was watching me up there. All 3 got made. So Malicious came out first. We shot Bastard Sons first, then Malicious, and then St. Michael of the City, all within 6 months.
Wow.
And then I slept for like a month, man. But then I was in post-production with all 3 at the same time. It was like editing and sound editing, which is crazy. A lot of fun. And then that's that. So St. Michael of the City is coming out in April. And that was probably the most fun I ever had as an actor.
I tell you what, man, I could fucking talk about this all night. This is fast. If I'm boring the fuck out of you in the chat, go fuck off, because I'll tune in another time. If you like this, hit the like button, because this is, like I said, this is very selfish of me. I like this. When I was a kid, I made home movies and shit like that. And I mean, I don't know, just seeing, I love movies. I love just watching movies.
Cool.
And hearing the other side of it is fascinating to me. So back in the day, it seemed like it took forever to put a movie together. Now with technology, I mean, cell phones alone, I mean, with their Steadicam and the freaking the 4K, like it's nuts what you can make just on a cell phone. So I would imagine with technology, it's got to be more cutthroat, right? With like any business and AI and all this crazy stuff, it's got to be rougher and rougher to put together something that's creative when everyone can basically pull in some funds and do something. So when you have an idea for a movie and you want to put it out there, how do you try to make sure that that stands out from anything else?
If you try to stay unique to yourself, you know, and true to yourself. Bastard Sons almost went a different way, man. Bastard Sons, here's the reality of what happened with Sons. I made the movie I wanted to make, and then I watched it, and I was like, shit. I'm like, this is what I wanted, but I'm fucked. I knew right away I was fucked. I just had a feeling, in the sense of, this is not the movie my industry wants to see. This is the movie my boys want to see. And there was like this line right in the middle, and I'm like, what do I do? And I actually called my buddies up. You know, I'm very close to all of the fellas I grew up with, and I was like, what should I do? Like, should I make a movie for Sundance, or should I make a movie for you? You know? And they're like, make the movie you want to make. And you have that choice to go one way or another when you're in editing. Because in editing, man, I could have made Bastard Sons look like fucking Brokeback Mountain. You can do anything in editing. Anything. It's crazy, dude. The sound and moods and everything and the cutting of scenes, you can really manipulate any kind of film to make it whatever you want. So there was a chance I could have taken Bastard Sons another route and went a little more artistic with it.
Okay.
But it really just wouldn't have satisfied me. and the people that I really want to move, which is, you know, I openly say it's like my ultimate goal, man. It drives me, you know, like the people that I'm a movie lover at heart too. I did construction my whole life with my old man. So I know the life of being angry all the fucking time and coming home. And it's like, I need that movie to get the fuck out of this. I need that TV show to not think about what has happened today. I still do. And if I could be that movie, if I could be an actor in that movie, or if I wrote it or did something and I gave somebody that, I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't need a fucking Oscar. That's what I want. So when I made Sons, I said, all right, I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to leave it in. So what happened was this, man, not to be long-winded with you. I knew a dude that was a festival programmer at a very big film festival. I'll leave the name off the table. And my friend saw Sons. He flipped. He said, I got to send this to so-and-so to try to get in backdoor. All that stuff is all politics, you know, which I don't knock too much because, dude, when you're on the other side of politics, it works, you know? So it's like, it is what it is. So anyway, my friend sent it to this guy that was a festival programmer, and he watched it. And he called me out of the blue, and he said, man, I love this movie. I was like, oh, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. He's like, it's this and that, yada, yada. He's like, I love it. And it was really cool to hear that. You know, I haven't had that professional feedback yet. I was really appreciative. I said, thanks, man. He goes, don't submit it to the festival. You're not going to get in. I said, are you kidding? He's like, you're not going to get in. I'm telling you right now, man. He said, you're just going to waste $100. I submitted anyway. I didn't get in. On a, you know, I'm like, well, who knows? But there's a nature of the beast in the industry. It's been like this for a couple years, and it's definitely not average Joe, Jane, blue collar America. It's just not. So I made the movie I want to make. I sacrificed certain things in the industry. There's certain reviews, like bigger top tier reviews, like Variety and Hollywood Reporter and this and that didn't review the movie. They turned it down because I didn't get into these big film festivals and whatever reasons you have. But there's other reviewers I respect greatly that watched it and really had some nice things to say. And people in the industry may not have seen it or may not watch it. I don't know. But I know that, you know, guys and gals I grew up with and people like yourself watched it and you enjoyed it. And that's enough for me. So I don't even know what making it at Hollywood means anymore, to be honest with you, Chris. Things have changed so much. Hollywood is, I lived in Hollywood. It's 90019. It's a fucking zip code, man. You know, that's really what Hollywood is. There's an aura about it. But at the end of the day, when these streaming platforms came out, it gave artists the opportunity, even actors too, because I was just acting at the time, to be in movies and now even be in and make movies. And you could be right on Amazon and be coupled next to other films. Like when Malicious came out, Malicious popped. Malicious was like bestseller on iTunes for a couple weeks. And when it came out, it was the first time I saw it on iTunes. Someone sent me a picture and it was Oppenheimer, Malicious, and then another one.
Holy shit.
That's what I said. I was like, holy shit. Here I am, this small potatoes guy, man. And
yeah.
You know, and we did it on a laughable budget compared to that. But the streaming platforms give people that do the best they can and hopefully, you know, make a decent product to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if that wasn't there, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, you know, I'm just kind of doing my thing right now with everything. So I know that was long-winded, dude.
Listen,
like this, but
I like to give my guests the stage and let them just go. You know, I'm just here to ask the questions, and you go as long as you want. Because honestly, what am I going to do? Interrupt you and fucking? I think you're very interesting. If you're not interesting, trust me, I'd be like, hey, let's open up the phone lines. All right, nice talking to you. Whoops, we're out of time. No, but no, I think this is fascinating. I'm very interested in this, and this being on Amazon, and yeah, like seeing it next to Oppenheimer is absolutely insane. When you think of a big budget movie like that, it's just it's got to be freaking wild. So what is what is it? Do you have an end game, or you just, like you said, you're just going to take this one movie at a time, see how things play out, maybe a TV series? Like, I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah. If that you know, opportunity presents itself, I know the business so well now. I've been in it for so long that you, as an actor, you have zero control over anything, man. Literally anything.
Yeah.
And I was doing all right as an actor, and it just wasn't enough for me. I couldn't. There's something about someone that I'll never meet, because it's actor, manager, agent, casting director, then the people that hire, right?
Yeah.
These people that hire, I'll never meet them. But yet I'll bust my ass in auditions and do this and do what I got to do until I'm blue in the face, the best I can. And then someone I'll never meet is actually not only dictating my career by saying yes or no, but my career is ultimately my life. And I couldn't deal with just being an actor, even though I love it. It's what impassions me. I couldn't deal with someone I'll never even know with a hand on my life dictating what I do and where I go and when I work and when I don't.
Yeah.
I can't do that shit. You know, I just can't.
I can relate to that. And a lot of people can relate to that. Like, I was stuck at a job for 16 years and I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I was meant for something else. Right. And you did construction with your family and this and that. And I'm sure when you knew it was time, did they back you, or were like, you got to fall on your face, like flat on your face? What did they say?
They did. I mean, ultimately it was, I got like fired lightly from my brother and my dad, so to speak, because I was doing all right and when I was living in Jersey, but I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, if my dad was going to have a rough day, like I always felt guilty, you know, leaving him because I knew he was going to bust his ass. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to take off work a whole day, go drive 2 hours to New York City for a 5-minute audition, if that, drive all the way home. And here's my old man busting his ass, and I just ditched him. You know, like I had that weight on me, and it was difficult. So eventually things were rolling for me as an actor, and my brother's like, he's like, you got to get the fuck out of here, man. He's like, go, just go. And I was like 30 years old when I went to LA. I could have went to New York too, but I couldn't live in New York. So I was like, I'd rather go across the country than move 2 hours north, you know? That's Jersey for you. So that was my stubborn ass, went to LA and I did my thing there.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, man, it's kind of crazy, this career. And I mean, it seems like you've been doing it for a while, but it has the feel of you're just getting started. Do you feel that, or are you burnt out? Like, do you get burnt out from this stuff?
No, I just get pissed a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm you know, you see all this stuff on social media and people are always telling you like how to be and what to do and, you know, be grateful and journal. And that's all fine and good. But I think it's good to get pissed off and beat yourself up a little bit, because you know, you gotta put yourself in check and make sure that you're still striving, you know?
Yeah.
I'm constantly seeking this creative fulfillment. I can't explain it. I don't have the words, but I've always been like that innately. And I tried a lot of different things in my life. And this is the thing that ticks for me. This is the thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I chose it. And all this manic energy I have that can go in different areas, I just kind of honed it in. So I stay in this area and I'm constantly striving and seeking for that fulfillment. And I did find it making films, man. I didn't think I would, but wow, that shit was fun. It was an insane amount of work, but you know, my dumb ass goes and makes 3 movies in 6 months. You know, so I'm not mad at anybody, but creatively, I was really satisfied that whole way, even from writing. So I'm glad I did it. It was a kind of a test to myself, and you know, whatever comes my way, comes my way. I'm casting I got leads in a couple features lined up for this year as well, and gonna direct my next one in Chicago in October.
That is awesome, man. That is so awesome. Yeah. Dude, you're fucking killing it. So, and can I ask you, I'm curious about this. You say it's a small budget for The Bastard Sons. What was the budget for it? Do you mind saying?
I don't want to say yet, man. Not yet. You know, I'll talk to you on the side.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm always curious because, like, I now that you know, like, what technology is like, I'm very curious. Like, when people say small budget, what exactly does that mean? You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of different small budgets. Like you said, it goes all over the place. I know dudes that made features for $10,000. Like, wow. It wasn't that level. But and I'm essentially making
over under $10,000. Over. Okay. Okay. All right. I figured that. What is there anything that you've created that you look back and you're like, fuck? Like, whether it was an action, like a scene that you were in, or, you know, was there anything that you look back and you were saying, oh man, I wish because I'm very hard on myself in a lot of ways. Do you find yourself beating yourself up?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. That's how you grow, though. You know, if if I walked away from it and saw it on TV, and you know, most actors love seeing themselves, man. They love that shit, and they act like they don't, but they fucking do.
Yeah.
Me, I don't care. I just hope the movie's good or the show is good. Because if the movie or the show's not good, who gives a damn about me? You know, you're really just a spoke in the wheel. Sometimes you get the opportunity to have a performance that requires a lot of you. Those are fun. You know, I sink my teeth into that. But you don't really always get that chance. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Do you and your wife sit down at dinner and talk about acting, or you're like, fuck, let's not talk about any of that shit since we're both doing this?
Yeah, I talk about more, and I'm always talking about work. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she shuts it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because my wife, she's my co-host, but when we had kids, it was getting a little tough, so she kind of took a little break and she's with the kids. And anytime I bring up work, she's just like, I mean, this is not work. This is fucking YouTube. What am I talking about? But she, like, to me, it's fun and this and that. She thinks of it as work. She's like, no, we're not talking about this right now.
Right.
I can relate in a weird way.
Same thing, man. You know, we don't really talk artistically creative too much. You know, we do. You know each other so well, right? But business, I do like talking business. I don't mind that. But then there's the other side of it, the creative stuff, and you know, a lot of that is personal, really. You know, you don't really talk to a painter about, you know, what's he thinking when he's painting. It's just here's the paint. You know what I mean? So yeah, that kind of stays in, and you know, I kind of keep it business.
Have you ever been in an acting? Have you worked with your wife in a movie or anything? You have. Oh, okay. Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, a couple times. When I went to LA, when we first met, we were dating. We did a short film together for that dude I told you, Glenn Rodriguez, who wrote the original Bastard Sons 15 years ago.
Okay.
It was called something else. He did a short film with Amanda and I. Yeah, we did a couple things, and she helped produce a couple stuff. And then we did a movie in 2017 that was actually shot in Jersey called Bad Frank. And that was an independent film with Tom Sizemore, Ray Boom Boom Mancini played my dad.
Wow.
And yeah, some wonderful people in there. And we were in that together too. And that movie's what really it helped me out. It kind of put me on the map, you know, as an actor.
How do you stay level-headed? I mean, how many movies have you been in? Ballpark.
I got a weird track record, man, because I came up so grassroots. I took any and every single possible job I could possibly take just to work, just to see how to climb. You know, when I started, I didn't know what an agent was. I didn't know what a casting director was. I didn't know anything. All I know is I took my first acting class and I was like, God damn it, this is it. Like, damn, all this stuff I tried and everything, I'm like, this is it. So I just went for like a shark. And when you have that mentality as an actor, you do everything and most of it's shit.
Yeah.
So the amount of movies I did is not reflective of, say, my resume on IMDb. I mean, it's probably double. It's just a lot of the movies, you know, that's the downside of that, man. You're not in control. So movies don't get made. They don't get finished. The funding falls through. You know, who got in trouble. Your scenes get cut. It just goes on and on and on.
Oh,
but movies as a whole, including like short films and stuff, oh man, I'd say closer to like 90 or 100.
Wow. So it's basically like me asking a question to a person with a lot of tattoos. Hey, how many tattoos you have? It's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, I get it now. By the way, we're live with Kevin Internadonato, and we have an alert here from... This is
Super Chat.
This is Angel Gotti coming in. Uh-oh.
Hey,
Kevin
what's up,
Internadonato is
Angel?
a class act. Hi, Kevin.
She said you're a class act, and she said, hi, Kevin.
Hi, Angel. How you doing?
Was that weird having a Gotti interview you? Was that a weird experience?
No, it wasn't. You know, Italians kind of get along like on hello, you know what I mean? So it kind of feels like home. It was really nice.
Yeah, she's like I've said before, she's a sweetheart. We love Angel Gotti.
Yeah.
She's the best. And being from Jersey and stuff like that, and on the East Coast, I mean, it's just like, even though we're not the same as New York and Jersey, still it's a lot. We're still on the same team as opposed to California, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
That's a little bit different, but yeah. We also have another alert here. This is from Kainotto.
Wonderful.
Kainotto dropping it too. What do you got?
Where's Jessie? Pretty sure wherever she is. Her left index and middle fingers are beat to hell and sprained by now.
He's implying that my wife is masturbating right now to this interview.
Dude, because my character's name is Jesse and malicious. I'm like, what is this kid?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, it could go both ways now. There you go.
Yeah. Good question, dude.
Yeah. She's like I said, I had to cover her eyes during that movie. I was like, oh my God, here we go. Another handsome man. What is your workout routine like? I mean, you were in the military, so I'm sure you've been in good shape for a while, but I mean, here you are, you look like you're in great shape in these movies. How do you stay fit?
I actually just squeeze it in, man. I'm not this fitness professional. I've always worked out. I was in way better shape when I'm working with my dad than I was in the military. My father was a fucking animal. So I just came up working hard. Me and my brother were just kind of like whipped into shape from a young age. But working out routine, man, look, the movies, dude, that's not year round. It's not. It's like a fight when Frankie's got to suck out weight to get to get on that scale. It's the same thing. Like, what day your shirt's going to be off. Mm-hmm. Something like Malicious was different because I was shirtless for like 2 weeks. So that was tough. I wasn't ready for that, to maintain that kind of body weight for that long of a period of time. So workout routine, I think I always boxed, man. I did amateurs real only about 1.5 years when I was younger, when I came out of boot camp. So I always box. I spar a bunch of guys once a week still. I run every other day, and then I do, I guess, like body weight dumbbell workout, 2-3 times a week. That's it. And I just turn the needle up when it's time to shoot a movie, and just stop eating as much food because I'm a friggin' slob, and that's that.
What do you think about guys like Hugh Jackman that just completely transform their body into like an actual mutant? Like, it's kind of crazy when he plays Wolverine. Yeah. Do you look at guys like that and be like, how the fuck is he doing this?
No, I know how he does it, and God bless him, man. That's great. That's discipline,
Yeah.
We all know there's things that we can take. You know what I mean? I'm not in that. I don't want to. I had cancer a couple years ago, and like the last thing I want to do is put something in my body that I don't fucking know about, or I don't want to get this physique looking like Thor, and then I stop taking it and feel like, I need that now. So, whatever protein I get is the protein I get, dude. You know what I mean? I just work hard, and whatever I look like, and that's that.
You've been through some shit.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's what you bring up, the cancer. You've been through some shit, right? You've been in war. You've battled cancer. Here you are, you're fighting in the acting game right now, trying to put out the best movie you could possibly put out. The stress of that, this has been some life. Maybe should be a movie about Kevin Internadonato, right? Maybe this is the movie that we're all missing.
I don't know, man. I don't think I'm that interesting, but thanks. I'd rather just put into the work and let it ride, But that's pretty much it.
The cancer was stage 4 too, correct? I mean, you've battled. How did you? So, explain to me this recovery with this. Like, when you were diagnosed to how you are now, how did you beat this thing up?
That was a weird thing, man. I'll keep it as short as possible. I don't want to bore you or anyone listening. I had leg pain for a while in my thigh and in my knee, and when I was in Los Angeles. Maybe for about 1.5 years, moved to Jersey, still had it, and went to an orthopedic doctor. I'm like, let me just check this out. Because, we don't go to doctors, man. I'm like, whatever, I'll be fine. I'll tough it out. So I went, and this guy told me I had runner's knee. He said, go to PT. I said, all right. So I went to PT for 3 months. Pain was still there, and it was getting progressively worse. It was some pretty intense pain, man. It was wild, ongoing. It would come and go. So I went back to him. I said, something's up. It's still there. He looked me out again. He said, yeah, you got runner's knees. I just keep going to PT. I was like, are you sure? Like, my thigh hurts, man. He's like, no, you got runner's knee. So fast forward 8 months, I went back like the 3rd or 4th time with my wife, with my pit bull, and she wouldn't let him leave the office until they gave me an MRI, which we were asking for a minute. So he finally gave me the MRI, and sure enough, like, my bone was all discolored, femur bone. So went and got the bone marrow, what's it called? When they go in there and they screw like a corkscrew in your back and do all that stuff in your leg.
I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So they pulled all that stuff, and I'm making a long story go, but they told me I had stage 4. I had to start taking chemo immediately. Wow. So it was in the bone marrow of my femur bone in my left leg. Still have no fucking clue how it happened. They told me that I had like these ongoing stress fracture in my femur that kept healing and cracking through the years. So a lot of inflammation. I found out I had a big food allergy at that time too. I wasn't aware of, and a lot of inflammation breeds cancer, and that was it. So I had to take this really heavy dosage of chemo, and I was, if your body can take it, then they'll just keep giving it to you. So yeah, I was in hospital for a majority of time through about a 6-month period from 2018. And that was that, man. I ended up, I was in a hospital. I wouldn't wear a hospital gown. I didn't give a shit. I wore my regular clothes. I had that port put in over here,
Yeah.
I just ripped up my shirt, and I ended up writing a movie while I was in there to stay focused, and did push-ups, rode an exercise bike, and probably shouldn't have, but I knew I wasn't gonna go. It wasn't my time. I made it, if I made it through what I made it through in Baghdad, I was like, this ain't gonna get me. And unfortunately, there's people in my rooms that were passing away, or the priests were coming in and stuff, and it was a daunting period, but I just kind of stayed focused. It's funny how I know what I want to do with my life. I know so deep inside me that what I'm doing I was meant to do, and it just I couldn't stop being driven if I tried. I just couldn't stop. And family, yes. My loved ones, yes. My wife, yes. But this thing that I do too, and it sounds selfish saying that, man, but everything collectively got me through that, and I just came out of it. And once the eyebrows grew in, I just started booking work again, and that was it. Back to it,
I tell you, you're a guy that people would want to root for fuck's sake, man. And by the way, thank you for your service for at Baghdad, right? You were dropped into Baghdad and doing crazy shit over there and getting over cancer. Man, this is nuts. This is a wild story, man. Absolutely wild. So the best we can do here as viewers and fans is go watch The Bastard Sons, right? I mean, that's what we got to do, right? Is that the assignment you're giving us?
That's the assignment, guys. Check out The Sons. I hope you enjoy it. If you have time, watch Malicious too, and I hope you enjoy it. That's really all I give a shit about. That's
there you go. Well, Kevin, if you have a second, do you want me to bring people in over here, or you want me to let you go? I'll leave it up to you.
No, I'm cool, man. The kid's asleep, so good.
All right, chat. This is where I'm going to open it up to you people. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you'd like to talk to Kevin, an international superstar over here. I mean, this guy is in all the movies. He's got The Bastard Sons on Amazon. He's got Frankie Edgar as a co-actor with him. I mean, this guy's he's killed many people. He's killed cancer. He has a hot wife. His shirt's always off. Like, this guy's something else, You have one daughter, you said?
What's that?
You have one daughter, correct?
I do, a 4-year-old, yeah.
What's the plan when she starts dating? I have a daughter as well. How are we going to work this out?
When she starts dating when she's 25, you mean?
Yeah. Do you say, oh my God, I was a young man and now my daughter's going to date fucking young men? Like, does it drive you nuts?
Yeah. Have you ever been this scared in your life too?
Terrified.
I've never been this scared in my life, man. I think about this stuff, but she's a whip, man. She's a whip. She's all right. So I think I'll be okay with it.
And do you watch the UFC at all? Are you a UFC fan?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that's what's funny. Like, me and my boys were watching Frankie as he started, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and he was great in it, wasn't he, man? He was so he just fit right in, and those dudes around him. So The Bastard Sons, that was Frankie. That was Malik Whitfield. He's been around for a long time, Malik. He's a dear friend of mine. Kirk Pontone, he's from Trenton. I did like 4 movies with him. And then the guy that played Dobson, he was in the suit and the sunglasses. That's my buddy from Howell, Joe Cernio. He also produced the film and helped out with everything. Joe's been one of my best friends since I was like 17.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and everyone just kind of fit. Everyone met each other right then and there, and Frankie fit right in with these actors, It it was cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, that guy really stood out, by the way. He reminded me of there's a gentleman we've had on multiple times. His name is Big Mo. He's an announcer. Who's like a 7 foot tall, always got the sunglasses, the suits. And when that guy came on the screen, I was like, holy shit, he reminds me of Big Mo. So he's like a childhood friend, you said? Or
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool, man. Okay, here we go. We got someone calling in. So let me just switch this up here real quick. I'll put you over here like this. Okay, we're going to add to the stage. This is Two Joints from Canada calling Kevin Interdonato. Two Joints. What do you got to say?
Hey, Kevin, how are you doing, brother? It's an awful big honor to meet you, man. I wish you all the success with this new movie here, buddy. So.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. It's nice to talk to you. Thanks for coming in.
So you mentioned you're from the Jersey area, brother. Did you ever run into any people like Artie Lang or any of the folks back in the day in the area there?
Not much, man. Not much. My buddy I was just talking about, Joe Cernio, he knows some of those fellas. He's close with Vinny Pastore and Artie Lang and all those guys. But I'm sorry, Artie Pasquale. But Artie Lang, no, I never met him, man. Never met him.
Okay, it's all good. Another quick question too, brother. Are you familiar with the actor called Perry Caravello?
Rings a bell. Where would I know?
He was in the film called Windy City Heat back in the day.
Wow.
That sounds like a porno. Two
no,
Joints. Is that
not a porno, but
okay.
It's just got a tremendous story to it. I just thought I'd throw it your way if you're ever bored and want to check something out. I mean, he's got a podcast now, and he's just kind of a different fellow. But just one last question, Kevin. Sorry, I'm a little nervous here. What do you do for creativity? Like in your back pocket right now, do you have a few ideas for movies, or is it just something you're going to spontaneously come up with so it doesn't get stale in your mind and you can just be creative as possible with it?
Wow, good question, man. No, I have a bank of ideas, and there's a few that are in effect already beyond the Sons. And depending how Sons does, the sequel's already here. The sequel's already ready. So I just got to see how it does. But no, I'm pretty packed. I've never really been overwhelmed like this before, and it's kind of a juggle to stay on top of it. But
okay, brother. Well, yeah. I was inspired by your story, and I just wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future for you and your family. And we'll let somebody else call in and have a chat with you, brother. All the best.
Thanks, man. You too. Take care.
There's Two Joints. Very nice guy from Canada.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a sequel, huh? A sequel is something that you would like to do?
God, yeah, man. Like I've been hearing people been coming to me since the day the movie was released, and even other people that were, like, oh, this should be a series. You know, the character that was in the red car we were talking about that rolled the window down. So that's a friend of mine. His name's Chuck McClane. Chuck he's a great dude. He's the guy that created City on a Hill that Amanda was in, and I was also on the show. So Ben Affleck called Chuck to create it. He's a Boston boy. Amanda got to know Chuck. I got to know Chuck. We got tight. He's a fucking ham, dude. And I said, Chuck, you got to play this role in this movie. And he's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, just do you, man. And he did. And he was great. So we talked, and he's like, hey, man, he's like, there's possibilities here, like a series or whatever it is. So we'll see. I got to see how the movie does, because if I just went into production for the sequel, it would purely be out of ego.
Oh, okay.
It would purely be ego. I don't know how well the movie's doing until I get paid from the distributor, because those numbers reflect how much it's getting watched. So if I'm able to make the limited money back, but then some, and I want to take care of everybody too, that makes me feel good to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Then we're talking, man. As soon as that happens, man, I'll sharpen that pencil and get right to it.
And what's the timeline? Like, when do you find out, like, the ratings or if the numbers are appropriate for you to move forward? Like, how long do you have to wait for something like that?
Oh, yeah. So it's rule of thumb is like from the day of release when a movie comes out, so January 5th for Bastards, it's always 6 months from when you get your first paycheck. And then it's usually 2 years of quarterly payments after that. And then it kind of goes to like biannually or annually. That's kind of how it goes. So it's a long process, man. You're talking like 3 years waiting for a fucking paycheck. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to sit in the pocket and really grind it out. It's an endurance game.
And some
It's
movies are
very-
weird too, right? Like sometimes they don't hit at first, and then all of a sudden, like they catch a buzz, and then all of a sudden people start liking it. It's weird. I've had times where I've gone to the movie, seen a movie, be like, I'm not a fan. Then in a rewatch, watch it again, and be like, I fucking love that movie. Isn't it weird? It's like fights
Same
too.
here.
Yeah, have you? What's a movie like that you think of? Is there anything off? I could tell you right now, Zoolander for me. When I first saw it, I was like, "This is terrible." I watched it back. I love it. It's weird. I don't know.
Well, for me, my brother's a big comedy guy, and I never been a comedy guy. So the first time I saw Step Brothers, I guess just wasn't in the mood, man. I don't know. And he's laughing his ass off, and I'm whatever. And then he's like, we got to watch this again. And till the day, it's like my favorite comedy, man. I'll watch that any time. It's great.
A lot of Will Ferrell movies are like that for me, where I watched the first, I'm like, and then you watch it again, I'm like, I must have missed something here.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I got someone else coming in over here. Hold on, let me get this up. Okay, this is Anna Gabagool calling in. Anna.
Are you my cousin? What's up, Anna?
Anna, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
It's nice to meet you. I work in a deli in Bensonhurst making meatballs, but my hands are tied. Would you be able to help me out?
Give me the address. Next week, I think I'm free on Thursday. I'll come up, yeah.
Okay, I'll hook him up and you can hook me up, okay? Nice to talk to you. Great interview. Love you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Who would have thought Anna Gabagool would have called in? That's weird, right?
I never got an offer to make meatballs in Bensonhurst either, man. I mean, that's you know.
This is from Kevin. Kevin from Chicago. What's up? Welcome back, Kevin. You're live with Kevin Interdonato.
Interdonato, what a name.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. I got to ask you this question. I asked Angel when I jumped on her stream the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I follow a lot of shows when it comes to like growing up Italian, Instagram, places like that. And every time I see these Italians from the island, oh, you ain't Italian, you're American. You ain't Italian. So what's your thoughts on that? Italian Americans, it seems like Italians are kind of haters. I don't know what that's about. What's that about?
I don't know. I really don't know, man. I'm proud to be an American first and foremost, man. I'm fourth generation Italian through and through, but I'm American through and through, man. That's really all that matters to me at the end of the day.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being proud of your heritage.
No,
like they're trying to take that away.
Ain't nobody taking that away from me. No way. But
exactly.
I hear what you're saying. It gets a little much sometimes. I know. Kind of that's why I didn't want to go that route with Bastard Sons, man. People were asking me about it. I didn't want to do the whole gabagool thing. It's just not. I didn't grow up like that, you know. So I just kind of kept it real, and that was it.
All right, Kevin, you done?
Okay. That's it. I had to talk about your talent.
All right, get out of here. He's such a wise ass. I was surprised he was cordial with. Actually, he wasn't that bad with you, but usually he's an asshole. I was surprised he was good with Frankie. Like I thought for sure this guy was going to say something stupid, but he actually wound up fanboying, so that was cool. Okay, well, Kevin, listen, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you tonight. You've shared a lot of inside information on the movie industry. You shared beautiful stories about your life. You're a great guy, man. You're a super nice guy, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the show. And you say you're going to get right back on the horse, right? When can we see you on the big screen again?
That's going to be St. Michael of the City. We shot that in Trenton, New Jersey, and that's going to be released on Amazon and iTunes the first week of April.
Awesome. And The Bastard Sons, please go to Amazon right now. Let's get the sequel made. Maybe I'll be the other Bastard Son. Maybe you can drag me in over there or kill me or something. Can you kill me on one of your movies? Can that happen?
Well, if you want to come in, maybe we'll give that responsibility to Frankie. He was talking about the thing with Dexter before. So
Frankie looked a little too comfortable with that bat. He looked way too comfortable. Do you think he's killed anyone before or no?
I'm pretty sure people wanted to die when he was beating on him, so it would end. But Chris, thanks so much to you, man. You're a cool dude. I really appreciate the time, and thanks to anyone that was listening too. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks again. And any of the shout outs to any social media or anything like that you want to throw out there before you go?
Yeah, anyone can hit me up. Just give me a sec to get back to you. I do appreciate it. I'm on Instagram, my name, or just look up the Kevin Intro. It's a little easier than my last name, and that's it.
All right. Thanks again, Kevin. Have a great night, okay?
Thanks, man. You too. Take care.
There he is, Kevin Donato, live on the MMA-Holes. What do you say, chat? What a twofer tonight. I mean, we had some great guests. We had Frankie Edgar. We had Kevin come on the show. The movie's The Bastard Sons. Go check it out on Amazon. And I want you to give us your review of The Bastard Sons. Let us know in the comments section what you think. But yeah, he is the main star of the movie. Frankie Edgar is like, I don't know if you want to call him the sidekick. He's one of the sons, and they kill some people. People get hurt. And I'll say this. I watched the whole movie. I don't usually watch. I mean, a lot of times I just shut things off. I watch the whole entire movie. So if I watch the whole movie, you could watch the movie too. Go support him and let us know what you thought about that. I have a couple of alerts here. Casey Jones, thank you for gifting that Double Champ membership. I appreciate that very much so. Good luck. Congratulations to the member that got that. And I want to thank everyone for sticking around for especially for Kevin, because I know it's not something typically we do. I know we're an MMA show. But I find Kevin very fascinating, and he did have Frankie in the movie. So why not give him his time? And I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. And if so, make sure you hit the like button and share the stream out with all your friends. Got another alert here. This is from Mr. Lee Cole. Has been a member for 23 months. I appreciate that. Lee Cole with James Proctor. Go follow his YouTube channel. He says, Moss, great job. Kevin just takes control of Inter. Kevin just takes control of Inter. I think his thing got cut off there, but I appreciate you. Lee Cole is the one that hooked it up. So go subscribe to Lee Cole III's channel. Guys and gals, I had a blast. Hopefully you guys had fun. We'll be back on this program Friday night for Fuqua Friday. And Saturday, there's no fights. There's LFA. Maybe we'll do that. So let us know in the comments what you'd like us to do for Saturday night. Maybe we'll just, I don't know, maybe we'll just play games on the gaming channel. I have no idea. But thank you to the people that came on the show, too. You guys got balls of steel. Thank you to Gabagool. And don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA-hole. Good night, guys.